This is Atlantic Television Network. Welcome to Global News. First, the highlights. Police investigate robbery incident at Totino filling station. Tinubu seeks ECOWAS unity to resist schools. South Supreme Court, affirms President's power to declare state of emergency. NNPC confirms Escravos pipeline explosion. UK plans to enforce crypto regulation from 2027. CAF unveils guide on teams, tickets, and orders. I started smoking at 13. Turn to DK. Welcome back. River State Police Command has commenced investigation into the robbery incident at Totino filling station and at the Dr. Obiwale Cultural Center in Port Harcourt. A statement signed by Police PPRO, SP Grace Iringekoko expressed delight over the significant breakthrough in the ongoing investigation into the robbery incidents that occurred at the Dr. Obiwale International Cultural Center and Totino filling station. She stated that the command's relentless pursuit of justice with the arrest of 5 additional suspects separately in different locations, including Dube and Ikoku Axis in Port Harcourt, respectively, bringing the total number in custody to 9 and recovery of exhibits. According to the statement, the recent arrests are demonstrations of the unwavering commitment of operatives who have worked tirelessly through intelligence-led policing to bring the perpetrators to justice. The Commissioner of Police, River State, CP Olubenga A. Adepoju, has commended the bravery and dedication of the operatives involved in the investigation, urging residents to maintain trust in ongoing police operations and support the command with credible information that can enhance our swift and collective fight against crime in all its manifestations. Bayelsa State Chapter of the People's Democratic Party has supported Governor Doyo Diri's directive for an autopsy to be conducted on his late deputy, Senator Lawrence Eru-Jakpo, to medically determine the cause of his death. Governor Diri gave the directive during a condolence visit by former President Goodluck Jonathan to him and the Eru-Jakpo family at the government house in Egua, adding that the decision was informed by speculations and comments circulating on social media. This is coming after Eru-Jakpo allegedly slumped in his office at the government house last Thursday and was rushed to the intensive care unit of the Federal Medical Center in Egua, where he was later confirmed dead. Before his death, he had refused to defect from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress along with Diri, and later filed a suit to stop any plan by the State House of Assembly to impeach him over his refusal to defect along with Diri. Ogoli said the party is in shock and deep pain over the unexpected death of the former deputy governor, whom he described as a major asset to the administration, and described Eru-Jakpo as humble and tireless, stressing that his death is a reminder of the need for public office holders to rest. Mortuary attendants in the Upper Sapongba area of Ekpoba Oka local government area, Edo State, has been arrested by police following allegations that vital organs organs were removed from a body at Akube mortuary. According to reports obtained, the discovery sparked outrage among the deceased relatives who accused the attendant of harvesting organs from the corpse, and when family members arrived at the mortuary to collect the body for burial and allegedly noticed that some organs were missing, tensions escalated after relatives accused the attendant of engaging in ritual practices. Confirming the incident, the police public relations officer in Edo, ASP Eno Ikoedem, said the command received a distress call about mob attempting to attack a suspect at the mortuary, and the suspect was safely rescued and taken into custody, while the attendant is currently being held at the State Criminal Investigation Department, SCID, where investigations are ongoing to determine the circumstances surrounding the allegations. Ikoedem assured the public that a thorough investigation will be conducted and urged residents to remain calm and allow the due process of law to take its course. Residents of Calabar, capital of Cross River State, have commended Governor Bassey Otu's free Christmas bus service, describing it as a huge relief and a great help to curb the high cost of transportation, adding that the recently launched free bus service themed Xmas free transport service is aimed at cushioning the effects of economic hardship and assisting residents and visitors during the festive season to carry out movement across the state. During the flag-off ceremony held on December 1, 2025, Otu said the gesture is a welcome development that will bring joy and unity to the people of Cross River State during the festive season. Speaking on the development, Efiom Ekeng, a father of 4 at Marian, Calabar main town, said the initiative is commendable, adding that the state government should expand the free bus service to other parts of the state, while describing the initiative as a deliberate effort to assist the poor masses. Lagos State government has commenced the installation of more than 22,000 solar-powered street lights across the state under its Light Up Lagos Solar Street Light initiative. The project is being implemented by the Lagos State Electrification Agency and supervised by the state's Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources. A statement signed by the Deputy Director, Public Affairs, LSEA, Ololade Agbula, said the project formed part of the government's efforts to improve nighttime visibility, safety, and energy sustainability, and the initiative followed decades of reliance on grid electricity and diesel-powered generators for public lighting, a system it said had become expensive, unreliable, and environmentally harmful. The agency also said the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, led by the Commissioner Biodun Ogunleye, is providing policy oversight to ensure the project fits into the state's long-term and renewable energy plans. Early morning fire rocked the Elegushi Modern Market complex in the Lekki area of Lagos State and destroyed 48 shops. The Permanent Secretary of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, Olufemi Oke Oshanyitolu, who disclosed this in a statement, said the agency received an emergency alert and upon arrival at the scene, discovered that the market complex was engulfed in flames. He also said the post-disaster assessment revealed that 48 shops were affected by the fire, while traders were further sensitized on fire prevention and management strategies to avert future occurrences. Former Speaker of the Osun State Assembly, Mr. Najim Salam, has emerged as the African Democratic Congress candidate for the 2026 Osun governorship election. Salam secured the ADC ticket following the party's primary held at the Ultimate Civic Center in Osogbo, and while addressing party delegates before the exercise, the chairman of the ADC 2026 primary election committee, Mr. Emeka Nwajuba, said Salam was the sole aspirant for the office, and the 528 ADC delegates from across the 332 wards of the state then lined up to cast their votes. Announcing the results, Nwajuba said a total of 528 votes were cast, of which 520 were valid votes for Najim Salam, while 8 were voided. In his acceptance speech, Salam thanked members and leadership of the ADC for their confidence and the mandate entrusted to him. Independent National Electoral Commission in Osun State says it is not aware of another primary by the Accord Party in the state. A faction of Accord Party in Osun held a primary election which produced Bamigbola Clement as its candidate in the August 8, 2006 governorship poll, while the fresh primary comes days after an earlier one last Wednesday, which produced Governor Ademola Adeleke as Accord Party's governorship candidate for next year's election. The exercise was held in Osogbo, the state capital, and commenced with the accreditation of delegates, while that large presence of armed police operatives was also observed around the venue, stressing that the commission is unaware of another primary by the Accord Party. He said 150 delegates joined across the 30 local government areas in the state, participated in the exercise, while the caretaker chairman of Accord Party in Osun State, Babalola Akande, said those behind the Sunday primary are not known to the party in the state. Akandewu addressed journalists in Oshobo said the parallel market said Adeleke remains the duly nominated and lawful governorship candidate of the Accord in the state. Osun State chapter of the All Progressives Congress, APC, and Governor Ademola Adeleke, have exchanged words following the emergence of Bola Oyebamiji as the APC governorship candidate for the 2026 election. A statement by the APC accused Governor Adeleke of being jittery and restless over Oyebamiji's emergence through a seamless consensus primary held in Osogbo on Saturday, December 13, 2025. The party's Director of Media and Information, Kola Olabisi, said the governor's reaction, conveyed through his spokesman, to comments accredited to the APC National Chairman, Professor Nentawe Iwata, reflected on ease within the governor's camp. This is coming after Professor Iwata said the APC could not afford to lose additional states after the recent governorship election in Anambra State, a remark that drew criticism from the Osun State government. The APC also alleged that Governor Adeleke's administration had performed poorly in governance, citing the dismissal of teachers and health workers employed by the previous administration of former Governor Adegboyega Oyetola, now Minister of Marine and Blue Economy. Reacting, Governor Adeleke dismissed the APC's claims and reaffirmed his determination to seek re-election, declaring that he would defeat Oyebamiji by the might of God and the people. And in a statement signed by his spokesman, Olawale Al-Rashid, the governor described comments attributed to Oyetola at the APC primary as wishful thinking and illusory grandstanding. Ekiti State government has approved 15.181 billion naira for the reconstruction of the Ifaki Esure Ilomi Eyo Awo Igede Ekiti Road. The Commissioner for Information, Taiwo Olatubosun, said the State Executive Council approved the award of the contract to CCECC Nigeria Limited at its meeting held last week. Olatubosun, who disclosed this in a statement, said the project underscored the administration's commitment to improving transportation infrastructure across the state, and the contract for the full reconstruction of the road has been approved for award to Messiah CCECC Nigeria Limited, with 60% of the contract sum to be paid as mobilization upon the submission of an advance payment guarantee or insurance bond. He said the project is scheduled for completion within 24 months, and the SEC approved the 500 million naira cooperative intervention fund aimed at strengthening grassroots economic development across the state, stressing that the fund was designed to boost the capacity, productivity, and long-term sustainability of cooperative societies and unions. Olatubosun recalled that Governor Oyebanji, during the 2023 Cooperative Day celebration, pledged strategic support to strengthen the cooperative movement as a driver of inclusive economic growth in Ekiti State, adding that the intervention fund was expected to increase cooperative productivity and output, expand employment opportunities, support small businesses and informal sector players, diversify the state's revenue base, and strengthen the resilience of cooperative societies for long-term growth. Oyo State government has begun subsidizing some food items such as bags of rice, vegetable oil, chicken, and other essential food items for its workers. The State Commissioner for Information and Civic Orientation, Prince Dotun Oyelade, who disclosed this in a statement in Ibadan, said the initiative was part of the state government's efforts to caution the effects of current economic challenges on workers and ensure a more comfortable December festive season. The intervention aligns with the welfare-driven agenda of the state government aimed at improving the standard of living of workers and promoting food affordability, stressing that the initiative is driven by the Agricultural Credit Corporation of Oyo State that will sell the subsidized food items valued at 100 million naira to civil and public servants across the state. Fire disaster triggered by sudden gas explosion has consumed a building of 3-bedroom flats in Asa local government area of Kwara State. The incident occurred which occurred at Temideret community, Reke Asha local government area of the state. Excuse me. According to the spokesman of the state fire service, Hassan Adekunle, involved the building comprising 3-bedroom flats, all of which were affected by the fire following a sudden gas explosion. Preliminary investigation said the incident was caused by gas leakage which led to the explosion and subsequent fire outbreak, while the firefighters promptly engaged the fire and carried out containment operations to prevent further escalation within the community. Director of the State Fire Service, Prince Falade John Olumuyiwa, advised residents to exercise strict caution in the use of gas and also stressed on the importance of regular inspection of gas cylinders, hoses, and regulators, urging users to ensure proper ventilation, avoid using faulty or expired gas equipment, and to immediately shut off gas supply when leakage is suspected. The director further stressed on adherence to basic gas safety practices as critical in preventing explosions and loss of property. Taraba State House of Assembly has approved the budget estimate of 653.5 billion naira for the 2026 fiscal year, barely 3 weeks after it was presented to the legislature by the state government. The Speaker of the House, John Bonzena, described the passage of the appropriation bill as one of the Assembly's core constitutional responsibilities, commending members of the Appropriations Committee for their diligence and thorough scrutiny that culminated in the final figures, adding that the timely approval of the budget would enable the governor to effectively deliver good governance and the dividends of democracy to the people of the state. The Speaker urged standing and ad hoc committees of the House to intensify their oversight functions to ensure proper implementation of the budget, while lamenting the recurring failure of some heads of ministries, departments, and agencies to appear before the Assembly to defend their budget proposals. He also thanked the people of the state for their continued support of the legislature and urged lawmakers not to be discouraged by criticisms but to remain focused on delivering meaningful representation to their constituencies. Earlier, Governor Kefas had said during the presentation that the 2026 budget was anchored on impact and tangible transformation, with strategic emphasis on infrastructure development, particularly roads and transportation, as well as education and healthcare. Kano State Police Command has launched an investigation into a murder at Yusuf Garko Mosque in Maraba Quarters, Kano, where a man, Ladam Malam Zubairu, was killed after his throat was slit. According to eyewitnesses, the suspect was immediately chased by an angry mob and lynched and set fire to the suspect's house, destroying property in the area. The police, in a statement signed by the Public Relations Officer CSP Abdullahi Haruna Kiyawa, confirmed that normalcy has now been restored in the area with security personnel deployed to maintain law and order. He also confirmed that the investigation team recovered the victim's throats from the suspect's pocket, and both bodies were taken to Mohammed Abdullahi Wase Teaching Hospital, Kano, where they await autopsy. The Commissioner of Police, CP Ibrahim Adamu Bakori, has ordered a thorough investigation to ensure that those responsible are brought to justice, and further appealed to members of the public to provide any information that could aid the investigation, assuring that all information will be treated confidentially. You are watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We return after this break. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network, and now to the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu has urged West African leaders to close ranks against fresh shocks to democracy and record recent coup attempt in the Benin Republic and renewed instability in Guinea-Bissau. Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, spoke when he gave the opening address at the 68th Ordinary Session of the ECOWAS Heads of State and Government at the State House, Abuja, and argued that Nigeria's position is in persuasion and solidarity, as well as steer ECOWAS through its current storms. Reflecting on the governance crisis in the region, Tinubu said the development also fractured the regional order, with the juntas in Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso declining withdrawal from ECOWAS in early 2024, and the latest flashpoints include an attempted coup in Benin on December 7, 2025, and renewed instability in Guinea-Bissau, which former President Goodluck Jonathan described as a ceremonial coup. Recognizing the quick response of member states to the Benin incident, ECOWAS Chair President Julius Bio of Sierra Leone condemned the resurgence of unconstitutional power grabs in West Africa and warned that instability in one state endangers all, and also outlined steps to operationalize an ECOWAS standby force for counter-terrorism backed by a sustainable financing plan. Bio also described a travel cost relief to make integration tangible for citizens. President Bola Tinubu has unveiled a commemorative book titled From Soldier to Statesman, The Legacy of Muhammadu Buhari in honor of the late former president. The ceremony, held at the State House Banquet Hall in the Presidential Villa, Abuja, was chaired by former Information Minister Lai Mohammed. While dignitaries, including state governors, governors, and family members of the deceased, attended the event. The book, presented as a multi-volume work, chronicles Buhari's journey from a military officer to head of state from 1983 to 1985, and later as Nigeria's democratically elected president from 2015 to 2023, and was edited by Dr. Udu Yakubu, with contributions including a memoir from former presidential spokesperson, Femi Adesina. The work highlights themes of national unity, anti-corruption efforts, and infrastructure development. It also addresses ongoing debates over Buhari's economic policies and security challenges, while stating how Buhari died on July 13, 2025 at the age of 82 in a London clinic following a prolonged illness. His body was returned to Nigeria and buried in his hometown of Daura, Katsina State, in a state funeral attended by regional leaders. Vice President Kashim Shettima has participated in the 2025 Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference. The Vice President was received on Monday by Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu alongside other senior government officials, and was later welcomed at this conference venue by top military commanders. Also in attendance is the Minister of Defense, retired General Christopher Musa, who joined other service chiefs at the event and was seen exchanging pleasantries with former colleagues. Confirming the Vice President's participation, Stanley Nkwocha, a special advisor to the President on Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, disclosed in a post on X that Shettima is representing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a special guest of honor. Nkwocha said on arrival at the conference venue, the Vice President inspected the military guard of honor in keeping with established armed forces protocol for distinguished guests. House of Representatives House of Representatives has halted a renewed wave of tension in Nigeria's downstream petroleum sector, following allegations and counter-claims involving the Dangote Refinery Group leadership and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority by summoning the parties to present the grievances and allegations before the Joint Petroleum Committee for immediate resolution. The House also ordered the parties to the crisis to cease all media hostilities pending the outcome of the committee investigation, which is going to be swift and out in days. The Joint Committee on Petroleum Resources, Downstream and Midstream disclosed this after an emergency meeting convened in response to what they described as growing tension capable of undermining the fragile stability recently achieved in the sector, with concerns being by different stakeholders. According to the committees, the move is to prevent further escalation, especially at a time when government and industry stakeholders are working to stabilize supply, pricing, and regulation in a post-subsidy era, stressing that key issue that necessitated the emergency meeting was the growing tension that has returned to the downstream sector as a result of concerns and allegations raised by Alhaji Aliko Dangote against the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. The lawmaker further said only a clear understanding of the underlying problems would enable the National Assembly to broker lasting solutions without fear or favor.
The key issue here that necessitated the emergency meeting was the growing tension that has returned back in the downstream sector as a result of the concerns raised by Alhaji Aliko Dangote of the Dangote Refinery and the NNDPRA. These issues, for as long as the committee is concerned, is coming at a time where the committee is guiding jealously the stability that we have achieved in the downstream petroleum sector to intervene in the matter once again towards finding sustainable solutions. And we can only find sustainable solutions when we identify the critical issues that is leading to this tension that has returned. Resolved this afternoon to plead with the contending parties in the dispute to cease fire, especially media comments, so that we don't escalate the situation further.
The intervention of the House is coming amid heightened public scrutiny of Nigeria's downstream petroleum industry, particularly as expectations remain high around local refining capacity, regulatory clarity, and stable fuel supply. Supreme Court has affirmed the constitutional power of the president to declare a state of emergency in any state to prevent a breakdown of law and order or a descent into chaos and anarchy. Excuse me. In a split decision of 6-1, the Apex Court upheld the president's authority under the Constitution to proclaim a state of emergency, and the court further held that during such a period, the president may suspend elected officials provided any such suspension is for a limited duration. Delivering the lead majority judgment, Justice Mohammed Idris held that Section 305 of the 1999 Constitution empowers the president to adopt extraordinary measures to restore normalcy where a state of emergency has been declared, adding that the provision does not specify the exact nature of those extraordinary measures, thereby vesting the president with discretion on how to act in such circumstances. The judgment followed a suit, a suit instituted by states governed by the People's Democratic Party, challenging its declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State by President Bola Tinubu, during which elected state officials were suspended for 6 months. The Supreme Court had reserved judgment in the matter in October. The plaintiffs were the attorneys general of PDP-controlled state, while the defendants were the federal government and the National Assembly, following the suit filed by the attorneys general of Adamawa, Enugu, Osun, Oyo, Bauchi, Akwa Ibom, Plateau, Delta, Taraba, Zamfara, and Bayelsa states, where the plaintiffs asked the Supreme Court to determine whether the president has the constitutional authority to suspend a democratically elected government in a state, and whether the procedure adopted in declaring a state of emergency in Rivers State contravened the 1999 Constitution. However, Justice Obande Ogbunya, in a dissenting voice, said, holding that the suit succeeded in part, agreed that the president has the power to declare a state of emergency, but held that such power cannot be used to suspend elected state officials, including governors, deputy governors, and members of state legislatures. Former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has dismissed as false a viral claim alleging that he chose which region of the country should produce the president in 2027. While reports making the rounds on social media claim that the African Democratic Congress chieftain said it is the turn of the South to produce the president in 2027, and also suggested that El-Rufai may be backing the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, instead of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. He urged media professionals and the public to always verify information before publication or sharing, warning that society suffers when media leaders and influencers fail in this responsibility, and also called on all stakeholders to act responsibly in order to curb the spread of fake news and irresponsible politicking. Minister of Works David Umahi has declared that the agitation for Biafra is no longer necessary because the Southeast has been integrated into the Nigerian mainstream under President Bola Tinubu. Umahi made the remark during an inspection tour of ongoing federal infrastructure projects across the Southeast region, adding that the long-standing feelings of exclusion that once encouraged separatist sentiment have largely faded following increased federal attention to road construction and other key infrastructure projects in the zone. He commended Tinubu's administration, adding that the Southeast is satisfied with its level of inclusion and engagement, while the Works Minister went on to highlight several ongoing and completed federal projects in the region, pointing out that many had remained abandoned for more than a decade before the current government revived them. Major socio-cultural organizations in Nigeria, Afenifere, Ohanese, and Arawa youths are collectively calling for the establishment of state, but express the fear of politicizing by state governors. On February 14, 2024, President Bola Tinubu met with state governors in Abuja, where the possibility of setting up the state police was extensively discussed, and the discussion brought a sigh of relief to some Nigerians, including some stakeholders who raised concerns that the country is not fit to have state police yet, expressing fear of abuse by state governors. While some argued that the centralized Nigeria police remain overstretched and ill-equipped to effectively police 230 million people across complex terrains, others said the governors may misuse the local police forces, especially for political intimidation, adding that the state police constitution alteration bill currently on the floor of the Senate and the House of Representatives is among the 44 harmonized bills now ready for consideration and voting by the two chambers. On his part, Mazi Okechukwu Ishiguzoro, factional Deputy President General of Ohanese in the worldwide, said though the establishment of state police is the only way to go due to the surge in killings and other activities of the bloodthirsty assailants, some northern governors may use the local police against President Tinubu in 2027. Police Service Commission has commenced a nationwide recruitment exercise for 50,000 constables into the Nigeria Police Force as part of a major initiative to strengthen community policing and enhance internal security across the country. A statement issued by the Sokoto State Police Command said the online application portal opened today, December 15, 2025, in line with the presidential directive aimed at expanding the manpower base of the force. The recruitment exercise, the Commission stressed, is entirely free of charge, and applicants are advised to avoid unauthorized individuals or websites, adding that prospective candidates must be Nigerian citizens by birth, possess a valid national identification number, NIN, and be medically, physically, and psychologically fit. The Police Service Commission also said the application portal will remain open for 6 weeks, closing at 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, January 25, 2026, adding that interested and qualified candidates are to apply exclusively through the official portal, warning that multiple applications or attempts to influence the process will result in immediate disqualification. Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji Ojo says Nigeria's borders are now better protected, attributing the progress to President Bola Tinubu's commitment to strengthening national security. Tunji Ojo, who spoke in Lagos at the Theatre, Art and Motion Picture Practitioners Association of Nigeria Professional and Empowerment Summit 2025 on the theme, The Right Man in Governance, Advancing Mr. President's Renewed Hope Agenda, the minister was honored as Tampan Man of the Year in recognition of his performance in office. The minister, who was represented by a former Ondo State Commissioner, Dayo Iwude, said the Ministry of Interior had recorded significant improvements under the Tinubu administration in line with the renewed hope agenda and listed prison reforms, strengthened border security architecture, as well as the installation of e-gates at major airports and innovations in passport administration as key milestones. According to him, the ministry has also cleared about 200,000 passport application backlogs, a development he described as a major boost to public confidence in service delivery, adding that the challenge was inherited from the previous administration. Earlier in his welcome address, the global president of Tampan, Bolaji Amuson, commended Tunji Ojo for bringing clarity, innovation, and renewed purpose to the ministry, adding that beyond institutional reforms, the minister had shown uncommon courage and accountability in leadership by insisting on standards and placing national interest above convenience. Pro-Chancellor and Chairman Governing Board at the Ignatius Ajuru University of Education, Lumolimini, Port Harcourt, Right Honorable Chief Dr. Chinyere Igwe has urged environmental lawyers to continue in their advocacy efforts, stay informed, engage and active in conversation about sustainability policies that affect the communities and planet. ATN News complete this report.
Pro-Chancellor and Chairman Governing Board at the Ignatius Ajuru University of Education, Dumonumene Port Harcourt, Right Honorable Chief Dr. Chinyere Igwe, has urged environmental lawyers to continue in the advocacy efforts, stay informed, engaged and active in conversation about sustainability policies that affect communities and planet. Dr. Igwe gave the advice while presiding as the chairman of award and investiture ceremony for the Association of Environmental Lawyers of Nigeria, held over the weekend in Port Harcourt. Recall that the environment is our shared legacy, adding that the protection of our natural resources, social value, and the governance is of paramount for the future generation. Right Honorable Chief Dr. Chinyere Igwe, who was inducted as a Fellow of the Green Advocates of Nigeria, an honor shared with other notable dignitaries, re-emphasizing the pivotal role of the law. He highlighted that the nation's legal system and its practitioners are critical in deepening and shaping policies designed to safeguard the ecosystem, ensuring that both the populace and the environment can thrive in mutual harmony. He encouraged those who are committed and are making remarkable contribution to environmental law and advocacy in Nigeria, adding that environmental lawyers play a critical role in shaping policies that safeguard our ecosystem, ensuring that both people and nature can thrive together.
Sustainability, SDG goal, which is now 2030, embrace that we must support sustainability, environmental sustainability, social sustainability, and governance sustainability. For us here, we are talking about environmental sustainability. As lawyers, it's a big task for us. We must embrace it, use it to ensure that we change the narrative for society, for future generation. That's the principle of sustainability, future generation. On that note, I will say welcome to all of us. As we enjoy the sumptuous meal that this association has provided, as we leave here, whatever certification we are going to get today, we should use it to empower society.
Dr. Igwe also recognized outstanding lawyers who have demonstrated exceptional commitment and innovations in sustaining our environment through law. He expressed gratitude to the leadership of the Association of Learned Brothers, particularly Professor Chisa Dike, President, Association of Environmental Lawyers of Nigeria, the organizing committee for their hard work in bringing together everyone to this significant event.
Your chairman is not here, but pass our message to him that we appreciate him. We therefore say that our guest speaker has done something very instructive, and I want to agree with him that AI cannot change the job of men. In several of my academic papers that I've written, I have taken that position that AI cannot take the job of men. So don't be scared, embrace AI, support it. It is only going to make men's job easier. So inductees, today is your day. You are being called upon to contribute to the narrative to engender a sustainable society.
In his speech, National President, Association of Environmental Lawyers of Nigeria, Professor S.C. Dike, disclosed that the body has initiated a robust 5-year plan aimed at continuously raising public consciousness regarding environmental protection, preservation, and sustainability across Nigeria. Professor S.C. Dike further called on everyone to go green and make effective use of natural products.
We are here to celebrate distinguished Nigerians who have demonstrated serious passion towards the environment and sustainability. We are here to honor Nigerians who are stakeholders in the environmental discussion space, whether those in industry, those in academia, and all those who are also in the fringes.
Professor Sonny Orike, a fellow of the Association of Environmental Lawyers of Nigeria, delivered a keynote lecture on the topic, the impact of AI on the environment. Speaking on the impact of AI on the environment, Professor Orike stated that AI has significantly impacted the society through massive energy, water use for data centers, high carbon footprint from training of model, resource depletion for hardware, and e-waste. He also maintained that AI offers solutions like optimizing energy grid, monitoring deforestation, and improving climate modeling, adding that its footprint depends heavily on data center efficiency, energy sources, and hardware lifecycle, balancing potential for climate help with substantial operation demand.
AI is a tool that will aid you achieve many things in your respective disciplines. This presentation is an exploratory one, combining AI and environment. And of course, we talk about the technological innovation adding to environmental protection. The one question we are going to ponder, maybe perhaps we'll answer before the end of the lecture, is who is responsible if AI-based environmental decision and action cause harm? That's in course of using AI, maybe harm is being caused.
Key highlights of the event are the award ceremony, decoration, and presentation to deserving personalities, including Pro-Chancellor and Chairman, Governing Board, Ignatius Adjorin University of Education, Dr. Chiron Igwe, as a green advocate for environmental sustainability. Popular gospel singer Asu Ekie was also honored, Honorable Justice Mark, among others. The event also featured a debate and award presentation to winners, special appearance by the trainees of the Chartered Green Advocate of Nigeria. Other side attractions include comedy, music performances, amongst others. Ajorin was Samuel, Atlantic Television Network, Port Harcourt.
Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has dismissed claims by some political actors that it is being weaponized to target opposition politicians, insisting that its operations are guided strictly by law and its statutory mandate to combat corruption. A statement on its official X handle, formerly Twitter, this commission described allegations of weaponization of the EFCC as erosion of EFCC's independence and persecution of opposition politicians as a misrepresentation of its role in investigating and prosecuting economic and financial crimes. According to the EFCC, its authority is derived solely from its Establishment Act, which mandates it to investigate and prosecute all forms of economic and financial crimes, with the only exception being political office holders enjoying constitutional immunity during their tenure. The Anti-Graft Agency said arrests and prosecutions carried out in the last 2 years under the current leadership showed that members of both the ruling and opposition parties have faced investigation, stressing that corruption has no gender, religion, tribe, political party, or other extraneous alignment, warning that selective outrage cannot be a defense against criminal investigation for graft. The Commission further cautioned that attempts to intimidate or blackmail it into abandoning investigations pose a greater threat to democracy than its lawful actions, adding that it would not succumb to blackmail or be railroaded into inconclusive investigations just to be seen to be non-selective, while calling on Nigerians to support its anti-corruption efforts. Aliko Dangote, the chairman of the Dangote Industries Limited, has alleged that Farouk Ahmed, who is the current chief executive officer of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, paid $5 million to Swiss secondary schools for his children. Dangote spoke during the news conference at Dangote Petroleum Refinery, accusing the NMDPRA chief executive of corruption and economic sabotage, adding that the amount for 4 of his children covers a period of 6 years and he was living above his means, calling on the federal government to investigate such expenditure, which raises serious questions about potential conflicts of interest and integrity of regulatory oversight in the downstream petroleum sector. The billionaire said the NMDPRA chief should be given a chance to clear his name by being investigated and not sacked, and also threatened to take legal steps against the school to ensure the disclosure of Ahmed's payments if he denies the allegation. The group chairman also assured Nigerians that the pump price of PMS would fall further, saying petrol would sell at no more than 740 naira per litre from Tuesday, beginning in Lagos, while the MRS filling stations would be the first to reflect the new price, adding that Nigerians would ultimately benefit from local refining, even as fuel importers incur losses. The businessman further said the company is working around the clock to ensure that recent reductions in the gantry price were fully reflected at the retail level. Federal Capital Territory High Court sitting in Gwarimpa, Abuja, has fixed Thursday, December 18, to deliver its ruling on the bail application filed by former Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, over an 8-count, 2.2 billion naira contract fraud charge brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The trial judge, Justice Mariam Hassan, fixed the date after counsel to the EFCC, Sivanos Taher-San, and counsel to the defendant, Patrick Egweto San, argued for and against the bail application. When the matter was called for a hearing on Monday, Taher recalled that the proceedings were adjourned from Friday to Monday for the hearing of arguments on the bail application, adding that the court had adjourned to enable the prosecution, which was served with the motion for bail on Friday morning, to study the application and file a response. Responding, the lead defense counsel Igweto rose to argue the bail application on behalf of his client, and in his submissions, he urged the court to grant the application, stressing that the former minister does not pose a flight risk, contrary to the prosecution's claim. He argued that although the prosecution alleged that the defendant breached the administrative bail earlier granted to him for a medical trip abroad by failing to return his international passport upon his return, there was documentary evidence showing that the defendant lost his passport in London during the trip. Igweto also described it as contradictory for the prosecution to claim that the defendant could flee when he did not possess an international passport, and further contended that if the defendant was a flight risk, he would not have returned to the country after being granted administrative bail. United States Congressman Riley Moore says his country and Nigeria are on a significant milestone in the fight against terrorism in Nigeria, with an agreement on a strategic security framework that will be finalized soon. In a post on X, Moore said the proposed framework would focus on combating extremist groups operating in the northeast and middle belt regions of the country and ended the genocide against Christians. His comments followed a fact-finding mission to Nigeria where he witnessed firsthand the devastating impact of violent extremism on the civilian population in Benue and Plateau states, and subsequently led a delegation of U.S. congressmen on the fact-finding mission. Met with the Nigerian government officials, including the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu and the Attorney General of the Federation Lateef Fagbemi. He also met with some religious and traditional leaders in Benue and Plateau states, as well as the Benue State Governor, Hyacinth Ali, adding that the report would subsequently be presented to President Donald Trump. From the fact-finding mission would outline paths to ending the violent extremism and killing of Christians. He reinforced the horrific accounts of some of the victims he met during the visit and recalled that the Nigerian government had initiated dialogue with its U.S. counterparts after Donald Trump redesignated Nigeria as a country of particular concern over Christian killing and threatened to take military action against the Fulani extremists should the government fail to do something to end the activities. And also some business news. MRS and other partners of the Dangote Petroleum Refinery are set to begin selling petrol at 709 naira per litre, and this comes 2 days after the refinery slashed its petrol gantry price from 828 naira to 699 naira per litre. Speaking at the press briefing at the Lekki Refinery, the president of the Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, said he was aware that despite lower gantry prices, some filling stations often choose to keep pump prices high, thereby sabotaging his efforts. According to him, MRS would commence the sale of petrol at 739 naira per litre from Tuesday, while other partners will follow. Dangote alleged that some officials had met with certain marketers and encouraged them to keep prices high in order to frustrate a price reduction, stressing that he would fight to enforce the new price regime. Dangote also said transporting petrol from the refinery costs no more than 15 naira per litre, questioning why pump prices would rise as high as 900 naira per litre, and also accused the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority of issuing for 7 import licenses to bring in more than 7 billion litres of petrol in the first quarter of 2026, a move he said that had hindered killing of local investments. Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has confirmed that the recent explosion along the Escravos Lagos pipeline system in Warri, Delta State, has been contained and host communities remain safe. A statement by its Chief Corporate Communications Officer Andy Ode and shared via its official X handle said the oil company recalled that the incident was first reported on Thursday, December 11, 2025, and coordinated containment measures have been successfully executed, ensuring the safety of host communities, personnel, and the environment, and that all relevant pipeline sections have been safely and securely isolated. The company stated that the operator of the pipeline, NNPC Gas Infrastructure Company, has also activated its response measures, adding that the continued engagement with stakeholders continues to maintain open communication with host communities, state authorities, and other critical stakeholders, and appreciates their sustained support and cooperation. It reiterated its commitment to safety, environmental protection, and operational reliability, adding that it remains committed to the safety of its host communities, the protection of the environment, and reliability of its operations across all assets. And now, international tidbits. Bangladesh's interim government said it would fly a leader of the 2024 uprising, a candidate in the upcoming elections, for treatment in Singapore after an assassination attempt that left him critically wounded. This is coming after masked attackers shot student leader Sharif Osman Hadi when he left a mosque in the capital, Dhaka, wounding him in the area, and the shooting took place one day after authorities announced a date for the first election since the students-led uprising last year that overthrew the autocratic government of Sheikh Hasina. A statement by the interim government said Sharif Osman Hadi will be flown to Singapore for better treatment. Travel arrangements, including an air ambulance and a team of doctors, are on standby, and police said they had launched a manhunt for the attackers who shot Hadi, releasing photographs of 2 key suspects and offering a reward of 5 million taka for information leading to their arrest. Dhaka police spokesman Muhammad Tebo Rahman also said border security has been put on high alert, while the interim leader Muhammad Yunus, the 85-year-old Nobel Peace Prize winner leading Bangladesh until the February 12th election, said the shooting was a premeditated attack carried out by a powerful network without providing a name. The government also said it would bolster security for all candidates as well as political leaders, candidates, their residencies, offices, movements, rallies and online spaces will be protected. Britain's government says UK laws on regulating cryptocurrency firms will come into force from 2027, with the firm and proportionate rules supporting the industry while protecting consumers. Cryptocurrency companies will be regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority (FCA) in the same way as other providers of financial products, including being subject to established transparency standards, stressing that rules on the specific framework for cryptocurrencies will be published by 2026. The European Union introduced similar legislation 1 year ago, while the United States is progressively introducing its own rules regarding regulation of cryptocurrencies and have come under increasing scrutiny from regulators after a string of controversies in recent years, including high-profile collapses of exchanges. A U.S. court on Thursday sentenced cryptocurrency tycoon Do Kwon to 15 years in prison over fraud linked to his company's failure, which wiped out $40 billion of investors' money and shook global crypto markets. Here now is ATN Sports News. Confederation of African Football has launched the ultimate guide to the Total Energies CAF Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2025, giving fans and stakeholders an in-depth look ahead of the continent's biggest football celebration. The guide provides comprehensive details about the tournament, including match schedules, host cities, stadiums, team profiles, and key players to watch. It also offers insights into CAF's initiatives to enhance fan experience, security protocols, and ticketing information, ensuring a seamless and enjoyable event for spectators. CAF officials highlighted that the guide is designed to keep fans informed and engaged in the lead-up to the tournament, adding that Morocco is set to host the 2025 edition of the tournament, which promises thrilling football action as Africa's top national teams compete for the prestigious title. The CAF's launch of the Ultimate Guide underscores its commitment to transparency, fan engagement, and promoting African football at the highest level. Former Man United striker Wayne Rooney believes Chelsea head coach Enzo Maresca has put himself in a vulnerable position after making cryptic comments that appear to criticize the club's ownership. This is coming after the Italian described the build-up to Saturday's Premier League win over Everton as the worst 48 hours since his arrival at Stamford Bridge in June 2024, adding that the remarks were deliberate and clearly aimed at those running the club. Rooney said managers must respect club owners, warning that Maresca's words may count against him if Chelsea suffer further setbacks. And now, entertainment news. Nollywood star Tonto Dike says she started smoking at the age of 13 and struggled with the addiction for 27 years. The actress who disclosed this while sharing a testimony at Streams of Joy International Church also shared that she struggled with alcohol addiction, masturbation, and prolonged anger issues. Describing her addictions as demonic oppression, DK attributed her freedom from the addictions to divine intervention, stressing that she started noticing changes after her spiritual life improved, adding that she got addicted to smoking because her father was a smoker, and also urged parents not to expose their children to harmful habits. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Police investigate robbery incident at Totino filling station. Tinubu seeks ECOWAS's unity to resist coup. Supreme Court affirms President's power to declare state of emergency. NNPC confirms Escravos pipeline explosion. UK plans to enforce crypto regulation from 2027. CAF unveils guide on teams, tickets, orders. I started smoking at 13. Tonto DK. I am Favor Chikwestri Michael. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, now X, at Atlantic TV Net, on Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, and on Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. And don't forget peace and unity and the pathways to progress. To have a wonderful night rest.